Hey, welcome to the Paige family homestead. Knife in hand, a nice big, what kind of roast was it?
Blade roast.
A blade, I mean.
Shoulder roast, sorry.
Shoulder?
Yeah, I guess so. I can't remember. shoulder roast.
We are going to pressure can our Sunday roast dinners. Sometimes during the week we feel like having a nice roast dinner with little Yorkshire puddings.
Little Yorkshies.
Well, no, I was looking at this. I'm going to be careful.
That's smart.
He just sharpened it for me, told me to be careful, so I'm not being careful. It's so good to come home from maybe a day out on the trails and you're sick of junk food. And right now we're in lockdown, so junk food's kind of like a luxury. So I'm going to be able to come home, open up a jar of a nice roast, smaller roasts, right? We'll have one meal for Andy and I both inside 1 pint. So that would give us, it's going to cook in its own juices. We're doing a cold raw pack. So the jars are room temperature. The water in my canner is room temperature. I've already added my jigger of white vinegar because we have hard water and it keeps the jars nice and sparkly clean. You can do it without the jigger, but then you're going to have to really scrub the jars to get them nice and sparkly. Right? So these are going to cook in their own juices, like I said. So we'll be able to dump it into the pan to heat or the dish to heat and then make a nice gravy with the juices.
Oh yeah.
Open up a can of our home potatoes, canned potatoes, and also maybe some canned beans or canned carrots.
Oh, corn.
Whip up some Yorkshire pudding, and within 30 minutes we can have a full-blown, including putting the tablespoon of horseradish on the plate, roast beef dinner. So why wouldn't we, right? Because sometimes I'm just tired and I don't want to cook. So my hands are shot. I'm gonna try.
Shall I do it?
I'm gonna try.
Okay.
And portion it. I'm having a good day with them. Look at the marbling. Normally
Ew.
when canning, fat is an enemy. We do not want the fat in our jars. However, small quantities are okay. How's that for being careful with the knife, Andy?
Yeah, I see you still waving it around.
Small quantities are okay. You just don't want an excess of it. I mean, the fat is
beautiful.
It is our flavoring. I'm just going to cut off the obvious.
Give it to the chickens.
No. They can't have fat.
Why?
Don't you remember? It causes fatty liver and they can die suddenly. That's why we didn't let them have the...
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the bird seed with the suet. Okay, so I got pint jars because it's just Andy and I. And you know what? Sometimes it's nice to crack it open, save the juice, and just cut it and make a roast beef sandwich.
Yeah.
Oh, right? Roast is always better the next day. So this is then the next day. We're having a sandwich. So I'm going to cut it about like this. Wide mouth. That way I can pull it out when I need to without much struggle. Look at that.
Well, that's a good size. Yeah. That's
And
nice.
we want, push it in. We want about an inch headspace. I'm not going to put any seasoning in this
That's
because
awesome. Sure.
I can season it how I want to later, right? So there's one. And I will be wiping the jars with vinegar before I can them.
Right.
That was a nice size, so I'm just going to follow the natural curve.
Grain.
Here we go.
It's a good chunk of meat.
It is. Like, that's a meal. That's enough. Now, this one has more space. You want to push it in as good as you can.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put another little one in there. You get more juices that way because we're not adding any liquids or any seasoning, any salt.
It's a dry pack.
It's a raw.
Raw pack, yeah.
Yeah. There's 2. Okay, I'm going to get them all done to the point where I wipe with vinegar, and I'll bring you back.
Okay.
We got them full. I've got 3, 6, 8 pints out of that big roast. 8 pints means 16 meals for Andy and I. Can't beat that. These are from the box and washed because I don't know what they've been touched by in the factories. Dipped in vinegar. Wipe my rim well. Fat will stop a seal. So will the oils from your skin. Not always, but they can. It can be that delicate, depending on what your hands, how oily they are. Or there's variables, so why not just do it right?
Smell the vinegar.
So I did wash
geez.
the lids after. Yeah, I know, eh? I like that smell. So they go into my canner with the required amount of water according to my manufacturer's directions. Please refer to your manual to determine the amount of water required. If you don't have a manual, look it up.
Google it.
The Google has all the information. So 16 meals, Andy, out of that roast.
That's pretty good.
You know, and the roast was expensive.
It was.
So this kind of breaks it down and makes it justifiable for us to, you know, there's less waste when you, there's more portion control this way. A lot more. And I did take off probably a 1/4 pound of fat altogether, maybe. Not even that.
Yeah.
Not even that.
That's not. It wasn't really that fatty.
No. No. The obvious chunks that were in my face, they got cut off. But look at the marbling. We're going to have such beautiful broth in here. It's going to cook in its own flavors.
Juices, yep.
Why would I want to enhance it with anything? It's
No, I
the
know.
best already. There we go. I'm going to put everything on and my lid and everything and put the bolts up. And when I started to bring it up to pressure, I want to talk a little bit about that. When we can, people are like, oh no, I lost all my juices. Is it safe? These are not going to be totally submerged in juice when they're done because I haven't added any. I don't have a 1-inch headspace, only by the meat itself. It's going to cook in its own juices. The juices may only come up to here. That's fine. What I'm talking about is, say, something filled with liquids, and then when you take it out, you're missing like 1 inch. The biggest reason is people bring their canners up to pressure too fast. You see them all the time. Okay, I'm going to put this on high and bring this to pressure. No, no, you're still shocking your jars. So bring it up slowly and you bring it down slowly, and you will never have a jar purge on you for the reason of heat too quickly or taking the pressure out. I've seen people where they take their weight off the spigot and they're like, oh, there's all the other, you know, pressure coming out right there, and when it's done we'll open it. No, when you take your weight off, you don't want to hear anything more than a ch, and hopefully not even that. You want the pressure out before you open your canner. That way you're not forcing the liquid to come out through the top of the jars. So we're going to put it on number 2 on my propane gas range and bring it up slow. Because it's a cold pack, it's cold water, room temperature meat, room temperature jar, room temperature water. It's going to take some time. So when I get it to the point where it's giving me that 10-minute steady stream of steam, I'll bring you back. Okay, everybody, we have our steady stream of steam. Now this is another place people are making mistakes, and they see it and they're excited and they go ahead and put their jiggler or their weight on. No. We need this steady stream of steam to take all the air out of the canner. All we want in here is our water and our steam environment. in order to do a proper canning session. So it's here now where I close the camera and set my timer for 10 minutes, letting the canner come to its proper temperature, expelling the air from the jars and the canner volume of air itself so that we can do a proper canning session. So I'll be back in 10 minutes. Okay, my timer just went off. That means it's time for me to put my weight on. I'm looking for 10 pounds pressure as per my elevation. Make sure you check on yours so you know what weight you need to use to get yours going. So I don't start my timer. I'm using quarts, so it's going to be 75 minutes processing time. It does not start yet. And here's why. We need to wait for this to get to 11 pounds pressure. I'll know that when I hear, see, I don't want to, when I hear that, it'll go, chicka, chicka, chicka. So my first chicka, 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 I set my time on the timer for 75 minutes. And then we'll be back. My weight is jiggling. I've got the proper gauge setting. So I've set my timer for 75 minutes. When that is done, I'll bring you back. I've got my heat on level 2. You can see that's pretty low, and it still managed to come up. So I shouldn't have any problems with my canning session. Oh, I did want to mention it's not jiggering constantly. It should give me about 3 to 4 in 1 minute. Then I know for sure it's doing okay. Okay, so my timer went off. Heat goes off. I leave it alone. Don't touch it. Wait for the pressure to come down to 0. And then I'm going to wait a little bit longer until I can put my hand on there. I want to make sure all the pressure's gone. I don't want to lift my weight off and hear shh. I want to hear practically nothing. So I'm just going to let it cool down a little bit. I don't even have to move it off an element because it is gas. And I don't recommend moving it off an element. It just takes a lot longer when you got to wait for that to cool too. So there's some added time. Go do dishes. Vacuum. Chase the kids out of something they shouldn't be in. I'm at full stop 0. I can put my hand on it without losing skin. There's no sis. I'm going to leave it like this for about 5 minutes. Then I'm going to undo all these grommets. And I'm going to lift the lid just I'm telling you because I'm not bringing it back. But I'm going to lift it just this much and let it sit for another 10 minutes. Then I'm going to take the lid off and I'll bring you back. A nice clean canner. And look what we've got. 8 pints, 16 meals. Look at them. Now I wanted to show you the tops. They're still drying. They just come out. You can see that. It's like I don't want to touch. It's like a film. That's the hard water. I didn't put enough vinegar, so I can get rid of that when I let these cool tomorrow. I'll take the rings off. See if you can see them still boiling. I'll take the rings off and just wipe them with vinegar, the tops. And you won't have that on anymore. It's just a pain in the butt. But look at all the juices in there. Remember, we did these cold, raw pack. We didn't add anything. No water, no broth, nothing. Still cooking. Oh, I love this. The dance, the jar dance. I hope this video helps. I am going to show a video of us opening a jar and making a nice fast food, but an actual roast beef dinner. I will do that video when we open these jars, or one of them. Look at that. Wow. That's canner heaven right there. You know what I'm talking about. Hope you enjoyed. Please come back again, subscribe, put that thumbs up if you can please, and ring that bell. And we'll see you tomorrow.